I got every workout from 1983 until 1997. Every single workout, every rep, every set. Preparation notes for Mr. Olympia and all these things. This worked, this didn't work. So very analytical, writing everything, analyzing, studying.
His training diary was his life, and that was him. He knew if he followed X, it would equal Y, and that's what's been proven.
He totally believed what he was doing was right. He had no doubts. That's half the battle. If you believe in something, you can make it happen.
Blood and guts is just to the level where no one's willing to go. I mean, that's what it's about. Turn the body inside out, no matter what it takes. He wasn't going to stop. He was a train. I was never going to be a men's physique.
Didn't have much of an off season.
I like his physique better.
I'm always very energetic.
I will have to put me as one of the greatest.
Mr. Olympia was won by the back.
First of all, it's great to meet you. I heard a lot of great things about you. You're definitely the new sensation in bodybuilding.
Yeah, that's what they say, right?
Oh, everybody's saying it. How does it feel to, it seems like you have a big spotlight on you right now.
It's nice. It's very humbling and, just makes me feel like my hard work's finally paying off now. So I feel real good about it.
That's great, man. You just got a pro card, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
That's great, man. And now you're getting ready for you're doing Chicago, debut in Chicago, pro debut, right?
Yes.
Interesting. Can you tell me a little bit more about your upbringing, how you got into bodybuilding in the first place?
Well, I used to play a lot of sports. Baseball being my main one. So I was always very active into, playing a bunch of sports. My brother was a big lifter. My dad was a big lifter. But then I also had some tragic things happen in my life that kind of steered me away from playing sports and kind of took me down to the whole dungeon type feel where I just wanted to lift weights. No, I was molested as a child. So that incident kind of steered me away from playing sports and wanting to be around people. And I kind of just wanted to be isolated and by myself. And lifting weights was a way for me to take my anger out, my frustration out. And in the process of all that, I got pretty big, throughout high school. And everyone told me I should compete. So after high school, I did my first show.
And you saw people saw potential in you after that first show?
Well, probably not, because when I graduated high school, I was 230 pounds, and I stood on stage at my first show at 159 pounds. So I looked like a regular teenager, really. But then I knew that too many mistakes were made during that prep. So I said, I'm not done. I enjoyed the whole aspect of the prep. I enjoyed being on stage. I enjoyed it all. So I said, I know what I'm capable of. I know my genetic potential. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to get a coach and do it the right way. And the following year, I came back at 198 pounds. Just made the light heavies, and I did the East Coast and the Easterns that year, and I won both the team division and took third in the light heavyweight division at both shows.
At what point did you realize that you want to make it this into an actual career? Because it's not a very normal career, It's not a very ordinary path. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I loved it from the start, and I didn't know how I wanted to go about making a career about it, but I knew I had the potential for it. So I wanted to keep going and see what happened. So after I did those shows, I actually did Team Nationals, where I faced Cody Montgomery for his three-peat, which he did beat me, obviously. But a lot of people said it could have gone either way. It was back and forth. It was very close. So I knew going against someone of that caliber, I have some great potential here. And then the following year, I didn't compete in 2015. I took that whole year off. And in 2016, I did the USA's as my first national show as a light heavyweight. And it was pretty competitive. There was over 30 guys, and I took sixth as my first national show. And for me, it was at that particular moment where I was like, I have something here. and I know I can keep getting better, and I know I can get to the top. So fast forward to 2018, where I took second at USA's, where I think I lost by like a couple points. And that right there led me to believe I can turn this into a career. With all the hype I got, all the nice messages I got, all the people reaching out, I said I can do this. And at the time, me and Matt Janssen was my coach, and he's like, you're gonna turn pro, man. You can do it. So I took the whole year off again, and then I decided to do North Americans this year, and I turned pro.
That's incredible. How did you pick your coach? Why did you go with Matt specifically? And what kind of advice would you give to bodybuilders when they want to take it to the next level? How do you find the right, person to train you?
For me, picking Matt was like a no-brainer. I heard a lot of great things about him, even though there was a lot of bad things spread about him. I went straight to the clients themselves, and I asked, how's Matt as a coach? How's this, how's that? And they all would say the same thing. He's very good. He's very tentative. He checks in on you daily. So, actually after, the whole passing of Dallas, I reached out to him the following year, and I think it was the summer of 18. And I said, I'm interested in working with you. And he took me on. And then, at this point, the rest is history, man. And now we're like family. We're best friends now.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Dallas. Did you know Dallas?
I didn't know him personally, but I saw what he was accomplished with Dallas, the type of bond he had with Dallas, and that's something I wanted. With a coach. The fact that it's with Matt makes it that much more special, but that was the type of relationship that I wanted, that I could have someone in my corner that believed in me just as much as I believed in myself, and we could just ride to the top together and then stay there. And I just believe that's, at this point, that's where me and Matt are headed. So,
What's the dynamic like working with somebody like Matt? Is it basically, you follow him, everything he says? Do you guys kind of like, sometimes have disagreements on certain things? Like, what is a process like working with a coach?
We don't have any disagreements. I mean, I follow everything he says to a T, but if I feel, a type of food isn't working for me, or, if I feel like my body's being, too fatigued, I let him know. I give him the utmost feedback, and he applies that. And we change things. He listens to what I have to say. We communicate the best way possible, and we work together as a team. And I think that's the communication for me. Between him and I are what form a champion. Without communication, it's very hard. And I have no problem telling him how I feel about certain things, and he has no problem telling me about how he feels about certain things. And we just form together, and we do our best to win.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. One of the first pictures I saw of you a few months ago was they did like a split screen, and it was you and Dorian Yates.
Yeah.
They compared the side. I think it was like a side chest or whatever. But that's like it was a great comparison because it actually reminded me of Dorian Yates. Did you see that? Did you happen to see that by any chance?
I saw it. Yeah.
How'd you feel? I mean, that's a huge honor, man. Dorian is a legend, obviously.
Oh, it's very humbling, and it's just a great feeling to be compared to guys of that caliber. Like Dorian Yates is one of my favorite bodybuilders. I watched him growing up, so to be able to be compared to someone like him, it's an unreal feeling. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So were you always wanted to be a men's open competitor? Because I know a lot of guys, they do like the physique, classic physique, then they move up to the men's open.
Oh yeah, I had no desire to be a classic or men's physique. I wanted to be with the big boys.
Yeah, I hear you.
Automatically.
So all right, so you got a pro card now. Just a few weeks ago. Now you got Chicago Pro coming up. The idea, obviously, going into win, I understand, and then you want to get qualified for the Olympia, right?
Absolutely.
So if you do qualify for the Olympia, you're gonna do Olympia this year.
Absolutely.
That's. Do you feel pressure because everything's happening so fast? There's a spotlight on you, right? And you got to kind of perform. You got to live up to the expectations, but at the same time, you got to obviously make sure that you're good. You're health wise. Do you feel do you feel concerned at all? Everything's moving so fast, and like, people really expect you to deliver. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't feel pressure. You know, at this point, I feel really good. You know, I block out all the hype. I mean, I love the hype, don't get me wrong, but I don't let it get to my head. I don't let it bother me. And if something feels off, something feels wrong, I'm going to tell Matt. And, I'll be like, listen, I think we should take a break, and pull back. But honestly, I feel great. And until I feel like I get to a point where I'm like, I think it's time that we, pull off the gas pedal a little bit, I don't just keep going.